So, first of all, I would say goodbye to this old piece of garbage. Yo, what's up guys? I think we all remember those giant metal cubes we used to build as dino raising areas for outside bases. But let's be real, those things were huge targets, way too much line of sight, blockage for our turrets. And once enemies got inside, it basically turned into a free cover for them. But what if I told you that one single structure has completely changed that? It might just be the biggest buff to outside base building we've seen in a while, and it could actually make them viable again. So, first of all, I would say goodbye to this old piece of garbage. And hello, vertical cellar doors. So, what you see at the moment? We have the regular cellar doors, but now we have a vertical version of them, as you see. They're basically just like a wall. They come in the 3 and the 5x5 version, and I'm using that to build my breeding pen, or raising pen, whatever. So the good part about that is that we obviously can close them and they stay closed, and when we close everything, let's quickly show you that. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. I hope they all stay closed. As you see, it's basically gone. We can do the same thing to the upper room up there, and then we are left with the core, which basically just contains our feeding troughs over here, and basically no LOS, because this is basically just the same thing as a regular tower. So the thing now is you can build that in any size, whatever you like. I'm going with 15 by 15 over here because I want 3 by 3 cellar doors on the walls, and the good thing about that is obviously if we use 5 times 3 on each side, we can also make a 3 by 3 cellar door on the top, and we are left with no gaps, as you see. You could also do it longer, whatever like space you want to fit it at, and then multiple storages, and I'm going to show you all of that. We would teleport up here. There's the second room. Only problem over here is that you can't place anything on this layer, but that's not a problem. You have your food troughs over here, teleporter. You go up and down with the teleporter. No, maybe not over here, but I think you get the idea, right? So the first step is to choose a proper position for your raising area. In my case over here, I'm using this area between the two towers I built on my ASRock base over here. The reason for that is I can build a 15 by 15. We could have also chosen, for example, the area in front of the temple, which could maybe fit a 10 by 20 or something like that. But I want to go over here for aesthetic reasons. So I will not show you how to build a foundation, because I think everyone can make a foundation by themselves. Just try to get it as flat as possible. If you're getting like little edges like over here, you can just close them up with like walls in front of them to close them. But even if you have some small holes like this is not really a problem for you at the end. Okay, let's start with the core. So like I said, this is a 15 by 15, as you see, 15 by 15. So obviously in the middle we want a hole for a generator. And if you're asking yourself right now why I have these cellar doors over here, they're just to save some structures, because a big problem on outside bases is the structure count. Nonetheless, we want to put element into our generator, and don't forget to insert it as input. This is for the refilling with the 8 baud later, because we want to volt drop it and not pick those volts up, obviously. Turn that stuff on. And now before we even build that outside, we're gonna install the feeding troughs in the middle. And since we're using a pretty perfect 3 by 3 core for the tower, all I want to do is install a row of 7 troughs, because what we know from our other base building videos, 7 troughs perfectly fit into this gap over here. This. And I want to install a second layer up here. So we can't install one over here or one over here, because we couldn't reach them. Obviously place this. We're gonna place some walls over here, over here, over here as the foundation for our tower. And you need to make sure that, like I said, this needs to be flat. and the core of the of your building needs to be the same height as this. This is important so that our ceiling or our roof is on the same level as the top edge of our walls. Let's place this. Okay. So now we have this, and as you see, you can easily like access all of these things. And now what we want to do is we take half walls, we install them on the inside of these. Let's pick up this and pick up this. Those edge things are still accessible very easily. Ceilings. One circle around. You don't need to do that, but if you want to install 2 layers of feeding troughs for more feeding troughs, I would suggest doing that. Go to the ladder again. Only problem now is that these walls on the side gonna block us a little bit, so you need to go to one of them and then just go out like this. And for some reason it will snap to the ceiling below, so we need to line up like this. We can do 7 again. And now we can go even higher. We need to go 5 up. No, 4 up. Okay, on the 4th level I suggest inserting some pillars over here so we connect those structures together. And now the reason why we don't go 5 up is because normally we want to install the roof at the edges of that tower. But since we are in a 3x3 in the middle, but we need a 5x5, we need to go 1 out. So easy way to do that is we take a few more walls, connect those edges up on top, and we take regular tech ceilings and use the tek-cellar doors like this. And now we can make a complete circle up here, and we can already install our turrets as well. So now you need to put tek-cellar doors on the horizontal level. And you see I can perfectly fit one in the middle. And now we can fit them all the way around for the roof. Now we go to the bottom and we change them up to the vertical ones. 1, 2. So when we have that done and already placed the turrets and replaced the thatch with double door frames, we need to go to all of these tek-cellar doors and set them to never auto close and never auto open. That will basically make them stay closed as long as we need to have them like vanished. Oops. But they will also not auto open if we like get close to them and stay open. So you need to manually open and close them. But like I said, just do it whenever you're being attacked or when you go offline and you don't need the raising pin. We still want to volt drop the generator in here. You just cover it up. Like I said, make sure that you have element inserted as intake. And we're just gonna restyle this real quick without ladders. Connect, connect. Place this. And we need to build that thing. Okay, this is good. And now just for you to see that we're able to refill this generator over there. Open the 8-bot, put element inside. And now battle mode, and he should start walking around. Sometimes it doesn't work instantly. Summon the bot again. Butler mode. Oh yeah, he falls in there. Works, and then as you see, he's exchanged that stuff. Yeah, like I said, if you fall down, you can't access it, but if you just resummon him over and over again, sometimes he stays up here and refills the generator. We can also check if he actually did it. He just ghost. Go to the generator, but if he doesn't have it in his inventory anymore, you can already know that he put it in here. And he did. So that is working. And then we're already finished with our new breeding pen. So let's put a second layer on top of that. All you need to do is Since we use basically the roof as our new walking floor, and this needs to be like that. The only problem is we can't just install a vertical one on top of the other one. There's no snap point, so what we need to do is we take a thin pillar, we install it right in the middle over here, over there, and we install the walls. So once we got that done, we obviously need a place where you can teleport to or walk up. If you don't have teleporters, you can also work with just like some ramps that you bring from up there down there. But I mean, if you already have these tek-cellar doors, you also have the tech teleporter, so it shouldn't be a problem. What we do now is, since we already installed this cellar door, we can now install higher walls on top of this over here and drag this further up. And as you see, this is still closing, but we have those structures up here now. Now we can just install a flooring over here for the next tech troughs. And the good thing is now we install a small teleporter, maybe in the middle like this, and then the rest we can fill with tech troughs, and then we continue with the same tower as below. And we can install the roofing again. And the thing is, you could repeat this process over and over again depending on how much space you need, how big you want that building to be. And besides that, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Maybe try it out, tell me how you feel about it, and I'm gonna see you next one. Bye bye.